And now for the moment many people have been waiting for. Caitlin Clark has dropped her signature logo for her product line.
Well, the new Caitlin Clark Nike's signature logo has been released.
So it's finally here. It's finally here. The Caitlin Clark logo. This is 1,000,000 times better than the A'ja Wilson.
Radio live on WNIK, and as usual, we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA has just taken off. At last, Nike dropped the logo of Caitlin Clark, and it's rocking the league to its foundation. The revelation instantly sent shockwaves far outside of basketball. The website of Nike crashed in a matter of minutes. Fans quarreled over pre-orders that disappeared in an instant, and Beaverton execs were popping champagne as if they had just won a championship. What ought to have been a straightforward logo launch became one of the wildest retail frenzies the world of sports has ever witnessed. Jerseys, t-shirts are gone. Even markets for resale went nuclear with Clark's equipment already turning the sticker 3 times cost. However, despite Clark's and Nike enthusiasts were having fun, but not everyone was lifting a glass. In the background, seasoned athletes who have spent years. They were left struggling for recognition, looking incredulously at the numbers. How could this be made by a single second-year star? Kind of wave of titles when several MVPs and champions have battled to obtain a discount on shoes? That's where the narrative abruptly shifts from excitement to envy, as well as from joy to intense controversy. And believe me, the drama is just getting started.
Well, this just happened a few minutes ago, and it was a long time in the waiting. Many fans were wondering where Nike has been with any Caitlin Clark merchandise whatsoever, but developing a signature logo and a signature shoe does take time.
On August 25, 2025, Nike removed the returning to Caitlin Clark's new distinctive emblem, and what followed appeared less like a debut of a product and more akin to a cultural occasion. The layout itself was quite easy. 2 interconnecting waters that initially appear to be a sleek, contemporary stamp, but the deeper symbolism was present. Nike explained it as a symbol of Clark's always growing range, with a tiny secret sea nestled away inside to symbolize the development of her game from the inside out. It wasn't merely a logo, it served as a declaration of identity. The response came right away and overpowering. Minutes after the announcement, Nike's servers faltered. In response to the need, fans hurried to grab $40 cotton t-shirts bearing the logo. And ultimately, millions of pre-orders had poured in. Restricted edition yellow and navy patterns, planned to be released on September 1st, were sold out before to their arrival. Shelves, timelines on social media turned into an endless stream of screenshots, displaying out-of-stock and checkout crashes, alerts, as well as resale prices increasing hourly. For Nike, this was the prize they had been hoping for. The rollout was celebrated by executives as if they had themselves won a title, observing, "Clark stuff moves more quickly than anything ever made by the WNBA." 1. It was excellently summed up in the slogan, "Caitlin's like her, the iconic logo draws you in." Game. Clearly, the fans concurred with Clark had just updated the guidelines for WNBA merchandise in a single afternoon. However, there was more to this than just a logo. It was regarding who was not treated in this way. Should there are any.
The logo is officially revealed, and I don't hate it. Like, it is what it is. It's a logo. I think $40 for these t-shirts is scandalous. I think they're absolutely scandalous. Like, especially when for $14.99.
If someone ought to feel, A'ja is untouchable in the WNBA. Wilson. 3 MVP honors, 2 titles, as well as an Olympic gold medal. May's resume is as solid as it gains. She has been the league's cornerstone for many years. The type of powerful player who continuously delivers while carrying on the court, herself as the sport's face. In May 2025, Nike handed her what she had long since earned: a distinctive shoe, the A1. Fans arrived in pairs that were sold out in just 5 minutes. Additionally, it appeared as Wilson had at last had a chance to the spotlight. However, only 3 months afterwards, Caitlin Clark entered the scene, and all of a sudden 5 minutes felt like forever. Clark's products didn't sell out in a matter of minutes, it disappeared within seconds. Resale and website crashes. Pricing, increasing the number of national stories. Pasted all over. What was intended? Wilson's year was completely engulfed by a guard in his second year who had spent the most of the season with injuries. At that point, Wilson's old phrase reappeared and struck. Even more difficult. It makes no difference what. In sports, black women continue to get swept beneath the carpet. It was what she had stated. In 2024, Clark's contract with Nike was first declared. And those words today reverberated over the entire league. Wilson must have felt similar to deja vu win by controlling the game. Everything necessary to succeed, and still see who gets the spotlight. Anything else? In public, Wilson remained diplomatic. In private, sources near the Las Vegas Aces stated that her response to the numbers on Clark's emblem were invaluable. Not shock, more akin to a state of disbelief. When reality hits you in the face, Wilson wasn't by himself either. The locker all around the league, rooms were illuminated.
A statement that says, Caitlin's signature logo pulls you in like her game. It features interlocking C's. Her mark is emblematic of ever-expanding range on the court. Celebrate her logo debut with this soft cotton logo
Lit up.
A'ja Wilson might have sensed the hardest, but she most certainly wasn't the just one. In the league, veterans and both up-and-coming celebrities observed Clark's launch of the logo with a mixture of surprise, jealousy, and annoyance. These are athletes. They have been racking and grinding for years, winning titles, working long hours, laying the league's foundation, just to observe one guard in his second year overtake them in one afternoon. Take Angel Ree, for instance. She signed a large agreement with Reebok to introduce her first iconic footwear, the Angel Reese one in September of 2025. Reebok made an investment significantly in her wagers. She might be the next face of women's marketing. Basketball. However, following Clark's logo reveal, insiders claim that Reebok executives anxious. How do you contend with items that sell out before fans? Can she even click to buy Reese? You have to have been posing the same query. Next, Sabrina Ioanu, who is already a Nike athlete who owns her own shoe brand. Even she was quite aback by how quickly Clark's merch vanished. Her revenue had been reliable and honorable, but nothing like this wave of titles. It served as a reminder that even well-known celebrities might overshadow during the night, and Brianna, two-time MVP Stewart and Puma's famous athlete, unexpectedly discovered herself in a difficult situation. Puma is not the same as Nike. Observing Clark's numbers had to raise grave doubts regarding whether her brand could stay up to date. The atmosphere throughout, unquestionably, WNBA locker rooms. Resentment, smoldering murmurs, spreading, and lively group conversations. Not only had Clark omitted a logo, she'd sparked a wave of jealousy that posed a danger to split the league. However, there was no genuine conflict on social media. It was present in Nike's boardrooms.
Caitlin for three right here. Nike better plaster Caitlin Clark's logo across America and across the world. They nailed it on the design, stick the landing on the rollout and the merchandise. Right here. Looks like they're hanging a banner for it right there. That's pretty cool.
And as I already mentioned, the statement says that the two interwoven C's reflect Caitlin's connection with the fans around the globe, and the smaller hidden C represents how Caitlin's game was built from the inside out.
Caitlin Clark was more than simply a promising fresh talent. She was a lifeline. By the middle of 2025, the stock had fallen from its peak of $168 down to the tier 79 range of 78, sending waves of unease among investors. The executives sought answers from the board, realized they required a cultural spark, faced with the ability to sell goods on a scale the WNBA had never witnessed. Clark and her record-breaking time in college, and fit the bill, immediate celebrity status. Ideal. In private, discussions raged for several months. Should Nike put everything on the line? On A'ja Wilson, the league's well-known MVP, or take a chance on Clark, a player who had hardly completed a professional season? Wilson was the better choice on paper. She had the CV, the deference, the titles. However, Nike wasn't simply Pursuing credibility. They were pursuing sales. Additionally, each and every market. According to studies, Clark had the crossover appeal to attract followers who didn't even watch basketball. The compromise was nearly brutal in its computation. Wilson's A1 shoe is released initially in May 2025, providing her with a lengthy, much-needed respectful nod. Then only a handful dropped Clark's logo a few months later in August and let the marketing go. Machine operating at maximum power. On the inside, it was made to sound balanced. Actually, it was to placate. Give her to Wilson. Appetizer, then give Clark the 5. Dinner in one course. The outcome was precisely what Nike hoped. Wilson's introduction of shoes was a victory, but Clark's emblem turned into a phenomena, resulting in record sales and making news around the world. 4. Executives under duress, the risk paid off handsomely. Additionally, when the strategy became public, Wilson perceived it as more than commerce. It was intimate.
It's noise that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people have to say. I have a scout. I have 11 other minds on my team and in my locker room that we got to make sure that we're on the same mindset. So I really can't give you the best answer on that because I really don't pay any attention to it. My goal is just to go out there and be the best that I can be for my teammates, both on and off the court, and we're going to go out there and be us.
By 2025 summer, Nike wasn't only selling footwear. They were engaged in combat over enduring in the marketplace. Their inventory had dropped from $168 to just $78,779, close to a 10-year low. Investors were agitated. Analysts were asking. The brand and leadership required a lightning bolt. Nike and Caitlin Clark observed more than just a basketball player. They discovered a billion-dollar opportunity within corporate office. The discussion was fierce. Should the business increase its efforts? On A'ja Wilson, the established MVP with bets the house on Clark or rings. A novice who becomes famous. Went well beyond the court. Wilson was defended by traditionalists. Her honors were self-explanatory, and she has previously led the league for years. However, the marketing group had distinct data. Clark wasn't only shifting tickets. She was shifting cultural norms. Each and every number, each focus group, and each metric indicated that she was the type of athlete who could turn around Nike's faltering bottom line. Although the compromise was calculated, chilly, Nike introduced Wilson's in May. Much anticipated A1 shoe, a move intended to respect her authority and calm the complaints regarding delays. However, behind the scenes, executives were already getting ready for their main event, Clark's logo. Disclose. The nuclear would be in August. Global rollout of choice mass marketing. And sufficient excitement to change the story. For the WNBA as well as Nike. When the rollout hit, Nike's risk paid off. Precisely as anticipated. Wilson's sneaker earned commendation, but Clark's logo became a earthquake of culture. Sales figures. Broken records. Wall Street took a breath. Simpler. And the boardroom at Nike rejoiced. Additionally, when the plan was made public, it was more than just business to Wilson. It was private.
WNBA players, A'ja Wilson.
I'm going 1.
I'm going to put A'ja 2. I'm holding my 1 spot.
Kelsey Plum.
I'm going to put her 4.
I think I'll go 4 too.
Brianna Stewart.
Bree, she's going 2.
I'm really scared of who's left, though. That's my only issue. Okay, let's put Brianna 3.
Caitlin Clark.
That's going to be your 1?
I have to put her 1.
She hasn't played a minute.
I know she hasn't.
She hasn't played a minute.
I know she hasn't, but these teams have never sold out their season tickets ever in the history of the WNBA.
The consequences of Nike's risk weren't merely in quarterly profits or press releases. The locker rooms were where it was. When the Las Vegas Aces met the Indiana Fever, the air was freezing. According to sources, warm-up seemed more like a standoff than a practice run. A'ja Wilson hardly acknowledged that Caitlin Clark would maintain her concentrated on drills. Not a single handshake. Just business, no pleasantries. 4. Veterans who had sacrificed themselves for the league. There was more to Clark's rapid ascent than hype. It's served as a continual reminder that years of dominance might be eclipsed in a pulse. The player was affected by that tension. Rankings as well. When other athletes were requested to enumerate the best guards in the league, Clark, who had broken fan records of votes with more over 1.2 million ballots, it was far from the top. She was ranked as low as 10th by certain players. Even though she is the face of almost every advertising campaign in the nation, it was obvious that the fans might have crowned Clark, but inside the league, it was still necessary to acquire respect. The final disconnect occurred on a single. Clark, on the other hand, was the clear favorite in. Ticket sales are driven by the public eye, TV ratings, as well as product numbers that no another player might be able to match. Conversely, her peers thought she was an ostentatious newbie who had not fulfilled her obligations. That split between millions of people's love, fans, and the locker's skepticism room produced a subtle but unmistakable chili. Every time she set foot on the court, there was fighting. However, assuming statistics are accurate, Clark's influence was indisputable.